Okay, so the city of North Kansas City, we are a organization of about 190 employees, including all the different departments: library, parks and recreation, public works, police, fire, all the different departments of the city. This year we have about a $64 million budget. We'll talk about some of the major things that we've got going on this year. So every year that I've stood up here providing this presentation to the folks, I've said very, very soon you're going to see a whole lot of activity occurring in One North. This last year was the year that prophecy finally came true. So I'm going to show now a short video showing what the development looks like as of right now, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the individual components. So this is starting south and moving northward. Just passed over the backyard apartments that are in construction. This is our drone technology that you're seeing. And that is the Hotel and Conference Center that's also under construction. Mayrada Jewelers, which of course has been there for a little while. Old Chicago, a restaurant in construction. Medical office building, which opened this last year. And the new Burger King restaurant. So we'll talk a little bit about some of those. So the Burger King, we have worked with the Burger King to relocate the existing Burger King to a location just to the east. Construction on the new building is wrapping up. It's looking like a really nice Burger King. That's expected to open sometime in November. The old one will close one day, and the next one, the new location, will open up. And then once the old location is closed, it will be raised, and a Starbucks will be constructed on that site. The Hotel and Conference Center is going to be composed of a couple of different Marriott products, Aloft and Element, and in between is going to be a conference center, small conference center that will be able to host events and meetings. And then the backyard apartments are a 240-unit apartment complex, which is currently under construction, and will have some nice amenities. So those both are expected to be opening in 2020. Going the wrong way? No. So I've talked about Burger King. Old Chicago restaurant is currently under construction. And that should also be opening in November. Future items in the One North development, as I mentioned, a Starbucks. The golf entertainment facility that we've been working on, that has gone slower than we'd hoped, but we are making some progress. We do expect that we'll have some kind of an agreement occurring here in the next months to come. And then we're also working on additional retail and restaurant items, along with the master developer, North Kansas City Destination Developers, with whom we entered into a master development agreement in 2016. I'd like to talk about Northgate Village. Northgate Village is an area that we've been working on redeveloping for 20 years now. And this year was a significant year in the history of Northgate Village. We did enter into a termination agreement with the two developers of the site, Hunt Midwest for the retail commercial portion, and Rain & Companies for the residential portion. Progress installed, so we have gone ahead and made a break, and we are now working on obtaining new developers for those areas. In the case of Hunt Midwest, they will continue to work and finish their single-family residential. So they'll be working on that over the next 3 years. 64 of 94 row homes are complete. 8 new row homes are now under construction and are scheduled for completion in the spring. This is an area we call the Super Block. It's between 23rd, 25th, Swift and Buchanan, large undeveloped area just south of the existing City View. That has been undeveloped now for all this time, and so we are working on obtaining a new developer to develop that area. We do have an RFP out on the street right now for that. We have asked for a minimum of 222 units, which is what the tax increment financing plan for the development called for, and we're expecting to get proposals on November 21st. So we look forward to seeing what we get. We have received indications of a fair amount of interest, and you'll be hearing more about that in the months to come. Also, the commercial area along Burlington and sort of the northwest part of the site, this area which is north of the former Ruby Tuesdays, which of course did close. So we are also going to be working on putting out a request for proposals for this area. At this point, we anticipate we'd open it up to any kind of development, whether it was commercial, more residential. The particular location does have some challenges, and so once we've gotten a little bit further on the Super Block RFP, then we anticipate that we'll issue one for this area and hopefully find somebody who's interested in developing it in some kind of way. We're also working with the developer on what is called Curran Lofts. That's at our city-owned parking lot at 18th and Swift. And our development agreement with Sunflower Development does call for them to construct a 150 unit apartment complex, market rate. It'll also have some nice amenities. It does call for the development to have structured parking with about 300 parking spots and no less than 85 street level public spaces. Of course, this is a city-owned parking lot that this is going on, so we are calling for replacing all, not most, but not all of the parking spaces that would be lost when this does get constructed. The Armour Road Complete Street project, this is something that I think probably everybody is familiar with. This is something we just completed very recently, the first phase, and it has received a whole lot of comment, a lot of reaction to it, both positive and negative. We did have a public meeting on October 15th, at which we had 72 people come to speak, representing all points of view on the project. And in the end, what the City Council directed that we do is, in the short term, staff will work on some issues in the vicinity of the mop bucket business and the post office, see what we can do to mitigate some of the conditions in those areas that people have expressed concern about. And then we'll be looking at other possibilities for adjustments that might be made with the project and come back to the council in June for further discussion and direction by the City Council at that time. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the major capital projects that we have planned for the coming year. First of all, our water treatment plant. This is a project we've been working on for several years now. Design has been completed, and the design has been approved by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. So we expect that we'll be putting this out to bid here in the next month or so, and that we will see construction beginning in the coming year. It's about a $14 million project that we'll be accomplishing. The Downtown Streetscape Plan, this is a plan to begin in a phased way improvements to everything from the curb back. Nothing on the street, but we're talking about sidewalks, street lights, streetscaping, trees, looking at trying to just do something to refurbish what's been there for a long time. And the City Council had a work session recently on this here at the fire station, and we do anticipate that we'll be having a community meeting to get some input from the community about what kind of improvements the community would like to see with our downtown streetscape. So we do anticipate that getting going next year. And then of course our Burlington Corridor project, which we also have been working on for a long time. We've received a significant amount of federal funds, almost $4 million in federal grant funding to assist with this project. We're expecting to spend about $16 million over the next 4 years on it. And this project is all about trying to make our Burlington Corridor more green, welcoming, make it a complete street, Planned improvements are going to include a bicycle cycle track, pedestrian facilities, transit facilities, all to try to liven up this important gateway into our city. And we'll be we're expecting the construction on that. Again, this will be a phased project, but the construction would begin on the first phase in 2020. Other projects that we're working on include gateway signage. The first gateway signage project that we had, of course, was the Armour Archway that was put in, a little more than a year ago now. And the next one they're expected to do is going to be located at I-35 in Armour, right next to the new Quick Trip, which is under construction there now. Also have some money into renovate Town Square. That space is sort of tucked in behind an area that a lot of people don't see, to the east of Swift and to the south of Armour. It's underused, could use some sprucing up, so we haven't decided on exactly what improvements that'll be planned there, but we are going to be working on trying to put in some things to hopefully liven that up, and we also hope get some more activity going in there. And then Ballfield Diamond number 1 in Mappin Park, we are getting ready to enter into a cooperative agreement with the North Kansas City School District to renovate that diamond. The high school does use that diamond quite a bit, and so we have entered, or will be entering, the school district just approved it, the school board just approved it last week, and our city council will be considering it in a couple of weeks, an agreement by which we would spend about $1.2 million to renovate that diamond, and then the school district would contribute about 50% of the funding over a 10-year period to help with the funding of that project. So we look forward to that cooperative venture with the school district. Just like to note in the coming year, a couple of management team members that we will be losing, senior employees who've been with us a long time. Chief of Steve Beamer, who is here and who you'll hear from in a moment, will be retiring in January, and our finance manager, Shirley Land, will be retiring in March. So those are both major voids that we'll have, and right now we are in the process of recruiting a new police chief, and the recruitment process for a new finance manager will begin soon. And with that, I will turn it over to our Community Development Director, Sarah Copeland, to talk about some things that are going on in community development.
Thank you. In community development, all of the projects we undertake are based on our master plan, which was adopted in 2016. I know a lot of you participated in that. If you're ever curious about what's in the master plan and what does it say, it is available on our website, nkc.org/CD for community development, and that guides all of the projects that we undertake, including how we update our codes and how we handle code enforcement. I always talk about the development process and the permits that we've issued. This year to date, we've issued 429 permits, so we're on pace, same pace we've been on for the last few years, so construction activity has been pretty steady for us. If we look at our valuation, what's the value of the development that's happening here, we are at about $59 million worth of development activity in North Kansas City this year. We had 2 really big years immediately preceding this with the high school's renovation project, Cerner building their Kansas City Experience Center, all the development in One North. So we knew that we had 2 big years that we would be coming back down to more of an average, and we're starting to see that happening. But still, if you look back to 2016, we were really excited about the amount of activity happening in 2016. So this has been another very strong year for development happening in North Kansas City. This summer in July, we adopted a new zoning ordinance after many months of work looking at what needed to be modernized and updated in our existing ordinance, which had originally been adopted in 2002. We had a lot of input with people, but really the zoning ordinance is intended to streamline the process of getting a development approved, to update things in the ordinance that were pretty old and dated and made sometimes figuring out how we could work with our partners in the private sector more difficult, and also to better align with the goals of the master plan. So this ordinance uses more general terms for permitted uses because people are creative. Businesses are very creative. We have things come into the ordinance. We had things coming in where we had to look at the ordinance and think, what category does this fall into for us to determine whether it's permitted or what requirements apply. So the new ordinance is more streamlined. It also has more of a focus on how buildings relate to the street than what the uses of the building are, to allow you to have more flexibility in how you're using your property. We have not had a lot of applications under the new ordinance yet because it was just adopted in July. But if you have any questions about it, we are happy to discuss that with you, and we'd be happy to work with anyone who might be considering doing something to their property, any questions you might have about how the ordinance applies to you. We have been working this year on a new bicycle master plan. We had a meeting on September 20th at iWorks specifically for the business community to give us feedback on that, and I want to thank all of the people who attended that meeting. We got some great input. We're currently in the process of working on the draft document and anticipate bringing that before the City Council for their feedback in November. That is still a work in progress. So we're still, if you have any thoughts or feedback for us, we're still collecting your input on that as we work on wrapping this project up. And as I said, if you are ever considering making an investment in your property, acquiring new property, adding on to a building, constructing a new building, we are happy to discuss that with you, answer any questions you might have. Please give us a call. We have a lot of information that's available on our website that might help answer general questions, but those specific details, the devil is always in the details. Please give us a call. We're happy to set up a pre-development meeting or just walk you through where to find things on our website or what requirements we might have over the phone. And if you come into the lobby, Mallory is the person who's usually at our front desk. She's really the person who keeps the trains running in community development and can probably help direct you in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Steve Beamer. I'm the Chief of Police here. We're going to run through a little bit of information about the department and how things have gone so far this year. We've got new officers that have joined us. It is a continual challenge to find good individuals that have the characteristics and the traits that we value here in North Kansas City to serve us as police officers. Two of them here, Brandon Keaton, Justin Jones, and then I've got two more that are at the academy right now, Steve Salmon and Stephen Thompson. So Steve Salmon gets out of the academy in January, and Stephen Thompson gets out, I believe, in April. So we're doing everything that we can to stay staffed up. We've had a couple of individuals retire this year. John Stark, Dwayne Hostinger both retired already. And before the end of the year, Rob Russell and Michael McNamee are going to retire. So it'll always be a challenge to remain fully staffed. We do the best that we can, but it's just not easy in today's world. I know that all of you have trouble finding good employees just like we do. And so we'll continue to do our best. We had some changes in assignments this year. Officer Jason Smith went to the school. He is our new school resource officer down North Kansas City High School. He's getting settled in there and building good relationships with the staff and the students. Officer Tom Hopkins, you probably don't want to meet him because he's one of our traffic officers. So he's out here with working radar, investigating accidents. So if he's at your window, you're probably not having a good day. We did have a promotion this year, as I mentioned. John Stark retired. He was one of our more tenured sergeants. He left, and Sergeant Justin Holm took his position. Justin had been a detective in his previous career, and last year served at North Kansas City High School. And so he's out here now working nights and doing a very good job. He's doing well. As I mentioned, John and Dwayne, they are enjoying the good life now. I'll be joining them soon. Part 1, crimes. This is the piece of the presentation that, while it's difficult to look at least it gives you some idea of how we're doing here in North Kansas City and trying to keep the community safe. It's hard to see, so on the far, let's see, it'd be your left. The zeros represent the number of homicides we've had in the last 3 years here in North Kansas City. It's always good to see 0 on that column. We've had years where we've experienced 1 or 2, but at this point in time, we're okay for this year. Rape, sexual assault, we've had 1 reported so far this year. Robberies, we've experienced 9 armed robberies. Aggravated assault, this year we've had 7. Burglary, 16 reported so far this year. And you know, that's one thing in my career that I probably have seen the biggest change in. It was not uncommon for us to have 100 burglaries a year in this city when I started. But security systems, better design to help keep businesses safe has really dropped that number down. The real high bars there, those are all the stealings that occur. And when I say stealing, that includes thefts from auto, shoplifting, people just picking something up out of somebody's yard and carrying it away. Through September, we've had 215 compared to 228 last year. That will always be the biggest issue in North Kansas City. Folks, there's people out there that just want to take something that belongs to you. And if you're not smart and careful about how you safeguard your property, then you would be potentially a victim. We will work with you any way we can to help keep your property safe. We'll come out. We've got 2 community policing officers that will work with you to try to identify what threats you may have on your property. But in this city, stealing is always going to be the biggest issue. Behind that is auto theft. This year we've had 67 auto thefts reported in this city. Why that continues to be a challenge, I don't know, but it does. A lot of those, people have left their keys in the car. The thing now is with the keyless entry systems, little fobs, there's people that leave their fob in the car. Folks, don't do that. Okay? You're just creating a problem that makes that bar go higher and higher. And we'd like to try and keep that number down as much as possible. Arsons, so far this year we haven't had any arsons. The fire department appreciates that as much as we do. And as far as the actual stealing offenses, month by month, January through September, the bright green line is thefts from motor vehicle. The blue line is shoplifting. Orange is motor vehicle parts and accessories, stealing something off of a car. Gray, yeah, it's kind of a gray color there. Those are thefts from building. And finally, the yellow is just all the other thefts combined. So, as you can see, it's cyclical. We don't necessarily have a pattern where thefts from motor vehicles are always high, because if you don't lock your car, there are people that wander around this city trying car doors in the middle of the night. Sometimes we catch them, sometimes we don't. But as far as how those stealing offenses break down, that's how those numbers break down. Before I give it to the fire department, I just want to say one thing. As Eric mentioned, I'm going out the door just after the first of the year. Over my career, I have very much appreciated the relationship that I personally have had with many of you in this room, and the relationship that the police department has had with the business council. The support that you have given us, whether it's been trying to get the public safety sales tax passed a couple of years ago, to offering to help us in any way you can for whatever issue we're working on. I personally thank you, and on behalf of the department, as the chief, I want to thank you as well. So, thank you. Dave?
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming to our house and having dinner with us today. We appreciate it. We look forward to doing this every year. It's kind of became a tradition now. So hope you enjoyed your meal. Looking back over the last year for the fire department, we adopted the 2018 fire codes and building codes. It's going to help us going forward. We moved up from 2012 codes to 2018. It's going to make our job easier by making the developments and the buildings going in all safer and really modernizing all that stuff to make everybody safer in town. We hired 9 new firefighters. We're in the same boat as the police department. Recruiting's getting harder every year to get those good people to come in. Sometimes our job is thankless. We enjoy it, but the new kids we got this year, everybody's doing great. We're moving forward and having fun. So and that's kind of good in our part. And this year much different than last year. I can report that we didn't have any large fire losses. It was kind of a different scenario last year with the Armored and Swift fire. This year we haven't had any large losses, due in part to our fire prevention activities and the things that you guys do as businesses to keep it safe, so that we don't have to come down there and do that. Highlight of this year, we were able to achieve the insurance organization rating of ISO of 1. It's been 30 years coming. Since I've worked here, we've been doing things every year with water supply, with our training, with our trucks to get to this. If you don't know, if your insurance company uses this, you can get a discount by us going to 1. We were previously at 2. And there's less than 400 cities in the United States that have a class rating of 1 and only 6 in the state of Missouri. So we're kind of proud of getting this done. And it's not only the fire department, but the water department, the police department, public works, all of it played into there. It's just, I kind of get to take the credit for it. So I'd like to thank all those other city departments as well. But this was a big accomplishment for us. And if you look around and talk to businesses in other cities, not very many people have that one. We're committed to providing the highest possible service. I talked about this last year. We're here trying to get better every day to serve you guys. The citizens and the businesses are why we exist. We're here to serve you. Doing that, we had over 18,000 hours of training last year. We have required training, and then we have the training where the guys are sitting here in the afternoon and they see a piece of equipment and they go, hey, let's go use that. And as you can see, company training, 8,600 hours total. That's the guys out there together on the trucks, using the equipment, getting ready to use it, so we have that muscle memory when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and stuff's really happening bad. As the police chief and I had a discussion there today that in one single day, any one of us and the police and fire departments can earn our wage for that year, just for that one thing. And this is how our guys get ready for this, that 18,000 hours of training. Our response activities last year, we had around a little over 2,000 calls total. 52 of those were fires, whether they be a grass fire on the side of the road, a dumpster fire, some kitchen fires. We didn't have anything big, but we were able to get there and get the stuff put out. EMS that's what we do 79% of the time. We had 1,466 calls last year and transported 1,100 patients. And with North Kansas City Hospital here being our close facility, we took almost 900 of those patients to North Kansas City Hospital. So they're a big partner with us as well. Service calls, your smoke detector's going off, your carbon monoxide detector's going off, you call us, we come out and do that. Same with the good intent. People tend to call us when they have a problem and we show up and help them out. So false alarms, 193, that number's actually been dropping, and it's in part because the businesses are using alarm systems and getting better at working with us and our prevention people to eliminate those false calls. Our community risk reduction, we install smoke detectors in the community. If you're a resident here and they call up, we'll come down and provide them a smoke detector. We partner with the Clay County Falls Coalition. If we have a patient that we're going to their house on a regular basis, having to help them up, or they're suffering falls, we can hook them up with this organization and they will come in and provide them a way to stay in their home if they have medical issues. So that's worked out well for us. We conducted 1,106 fire inspections. Most of you guys probably saw one of our people in your business this year. We became a Weather Ready Nation ambassador this year, which means on our social media we're going to be sending out more things about being ready for severe weather, whether it's winter weather or thunderstorms or anything like that. We were recognized by the state and the National Weather Service on that. We did 62 hazard pre-plans, which again, that's you guys letting us come in your building, walk through, look at places that you have that are hard to get to, chemicals you have, getting to know you, letting our guys walk through your building in good conditions instead of we're in there in a fire. So we really appreciate you working with us on those. We installed 170 car seats. That's a big program. Since we started this program, we've installed almost 4,000 car seats. And that's the people that otherwise might be driving around and have there with their kids unsecured in their vehicles. So this year we trained over 60 individuals to become car seat technicians. About a third of our department are certified car seat technicians, and we hold classes and teach people from other agencies how to be car seat technicians. We've kind of, in the region, we've kind of taken on, we're kind of the hub for the car seat stuff, and we're kind of proud of that. And then free blood pressure checks. We do that. We go to Friday in the Park. If you've seen us down there and do that, or anytime you want to walk in here, just come in. Somebody will take you over and take your blood pressure. So, our fire prevention activities, our fire inspector, Mike Redford, trained 273 people on fire extinguishers this year. If you haven't had us down and you want us to, we can come down and do that. As you can see, the pictures, we have a kind of a high-tech laser operated extinguishing system. We don't light diesel on fire anymore and use real extinguishers, which I know it's not as much fun now, but it's a lot safer, environmentally conscious, and it's easier to do in a time frame for your employees. So if you haven't had that done and you want to do it, give us a call and we'll take care of that for you. We've given 16 fire safety presentations and tours this year, and that's including going down to the gardens, talking to them about fire safety. We're going to concentrate in this next year on elderly fire safety. We have a large elderly population in town. We're going to do that. If you'd like for something at your place of business, you'd like to come down and look at what you have and give you ideas or talk to you, just let us know. And public outreach, we go down, we have people that go to the library and read to the kids. We have Sparky, we go out on public events. This weekend they're having a Halloween. We're going to participate in that at the park with candy, and we'll have an ambulance down there. In the corner you see the hands-only CPR. We talked about this last year. It's still a big push in our area with the fire chiefs to get out there and teach people how to start CPR, not necessarily be certified, but it's called pedestrian CPR, how to push hard and push fast. And so we'll be glad to come to your business and teach all of your employees. It's a 15 to 20 minute presentation. We'll break some dummies. We'll show you some funny videos, and we'll teach you how to save a life. I went to a conference earlier this week, and another area department had started tracking the pedestrian CPR. It had 8 calls of cardiac arrest with pedestrian CPR started prior to the ambulance arriving. Out of that 8, 6 of those people survived. That's a huge number that we hadn't had in the past, so that's how important it is to learn how to do that. And so if you want us to come down and take care of that, we'll be glad to do that as well. Looking toward the future, I don't know if you've seen it in the news or heard of it in our industry, paramedics are kind of at a premium. They're hard to get. We're addressing that by, right now we have 8 individuals that we're sponsoring and sending through school. We're paying for them to get that go through that program so that when they get out, they'll be here. So we're growing them from inside instead of trying to get them out of the market. And it's really worked out well. Matter of fact, we have one, she's not in here right now, will be graduating and probably have her paramedic license by the end of this month. So we're really proud of that. We're going to continue to expand our public education programs, especially with the programs for the elderly, focusing on that group in our town. We want to continue to build our relationship with you guys. Try to get to a lot of events. We try to get our crews to events to meet you, to get to know you, because you're our customers. And it's really nice to get to know, especially the business owners, before something bad happens to you. So you can walk in and you say, "Hey, Chief, how are you doing today?" And we have that conversation. We're using technology to improve efficiency. You saw some of the drone footage. We have thermal imaging available on that. We're working on the program to get a more robust group of pilots going. We're using technology to track our fleet maintenance and things like that. So we're trying to be more efficient by using technology. And then we're just continuously evaluating how we're providing those services so we can provide you the best service and be good stewards of the public money as well. So if there's anything we're doing that you think we can improve on, don't hesitate to give me a call and say, hey chief, if you guys thought about doing this, there's something in my industry that you could possibly use in yours, and let us know. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Berlin, and thanks again for coming down today.
Well, I know we have just a few minutes, I think, before 1 o'clock. If do you have any questions on anything that we talked about, or anything that we didn't, that I or Chief Beamer or Chief Hargis or Ms. Copeland can answer, we'd be happy to try. Does anybody have any questions? Well, thank you very much.